are back here. This is the Cover 2, presented by Tigervision. I'm Patrick Neal, this is Grayson Mann, episode 72. It's been a hot minute since we have been here doing this. You know, school has been busy, a lot of things going on. But we're back, that's all that matters. Honestly, we've got this show, and then we probably have one more next week to close out the chapter that is the Cover 2. It's a little sad, but it's also something we got to celebrate as well.
It's an event. It'll be exciting. It'll be a moment in Tigervision history. Just get ready for the emotional 3-year journey.
Tears will be shed, most likely, but that's for next week. Right now, we're going to be doing a mock draft. It's our third mock draft, I believe.
If anything, we're consistent with the mock draft.
We are consistent with the mock draft. So, we're going to try and keep this somewhat concise, so we're not just rambling on forever, yapping on forever. But we're going to go through all 32 picks of the first round. And, yeah, you can see it right here. Zach has added some graphics that are just going to be absolutely elite. So you got to make sure... watch the whole video, but we're excited for that.
Just do it specifically for the graphics, not for us.
Yes, exactly. And a little wrinkle this year. So we're going to be picking alternate picks. So Grayson is going to have the odd picks. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, so on and so on. I'm going to have the even picks. However, the other person who is not picking could potentially throw in a trade for that person to pick. So hypothetically, the Bears at pick 1, Grayson could be picking, but I could go, you know what, the Bears are not they're going to trade out of the first overall pick. So that's not going to happen, but hypothetically, that's what we could be doing. So with that, the first overall pick is to Grayson Mann.
This is going to be the easiest one. It's Caleb Williams, guys. I mean, it's the easiest pick of the draft. He's the best quarterback in this draft by a margin. He's been the number 1 pick probably since last year, really. It probably would have been in last year's draft as well. Super excited to see where Chicago goes. I think they're a playoff team. Yeah, the graphics. You guys can see that.
Graphic, man.
Caleb Williams makes Chicago in the NFC a weaker conference. I think they are a playoff team immediately day 1 with him on board.
I love it. I completely agree with this pick. It's going to be Caleb Williams. No need for further analysis. Pick 2, however.
Pick 2.
No trade? No trade?
No.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels. I personally do not agree with this. I think Drake May is the better quarterback. I think Jaden Daniels, while he is a fantastic runner, he's the best runner in this class. He's fantastic deep balls, especially on the sidelines. He bails from the pocket early. He bails from a clean pocket, and he also has a play style where, considering his frame, a very slender, slim frame, he plays like he's Josh Allen, which, they're both very good runners, but Josh Allen has had issues where, he's taking hits he doesn't need to. Jaden Daniels plays a similar way. So Jaden Daniels, I think, is going to be the pick here, but I personally think Drake May is a better quarterback. I think he's got better tools. I think he would potentially set the Commanders up for success.
I think Jaden Daniels is probably the more exciting pick, and it feels like the hype pick for Washington. I do agree with you. I do think Drake May's better, and I think that plays into the 3rd pick. Or I don't know what you'll do here. I do think this is where it gets interesting, where my heartbeat starts to pump out of my chest, because if Drake May's on the board, barring any trades.
It would be fantastic for the Patriots. Now, are the Patriots going to get that opportunity? Yes, they're going to get that opportunity.
So if Drake May's on the board, everything that I've seen in red, New England will firmly sit put. They're going to draft Drake May at 3rd overall. So we're going 3 straight QBs to start this draft off. New England, after the Mac Jones experiment went horribly wrong in year 3, Drake May out of UNC, who might have some consistency issues here and there. I think he's in a good spot here behind Jacoby Brissett to sit for a bit. And maybe it's a Patrick Mahomes situation where he sits for the entire year behind an established veteran.
There you go.
And then maybe pops off in year 2. We'll see. I think if it's Jaden Daniels, New England trades back and likely gets J.J. McCarthy. But I think Drake May's their guy.
Yeah, Drake May. There we go. All right, pick 4 is currently the Cardinals. Staying with the Cardinals?
It will stay with
It will stay with the Cardinals. Therefore, pick 4, it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr., son of Marvin Harrison, if you did not get that by the name.
That makes me feel old.
But, he's probably the most complete receiver in this class. He's been mocked as the best receiver in this class for a while, not just because of his name. He's fantastic at every single level. He doesn't really have too many weaknesses. He's been one of the best wide receiver prospects in the past few years. I mean, all three of the top wide receivers could potentially have been first overall wide receivers in previous years, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a Cardinal.
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
That will be fun. Number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
because
man.
I keep seeing that everywhere.
And it's not going to happen. It's going to stay the Chargers.
Okay, so the Chargers are going to stay put. Okay, well then in this case, I think the Chargers are going to get Malik Neighbors out of LSU. I think their goal probably would be offensive tackle here, but I think it's just a tad too high for that at pick 5.
I don't necessarily agree, but keep going on, and
I
I'll
think
provide.
the Chargers gutted their wide receiver core.
They did do
this
that.
offseason.
They did do that.
And they need to get Justin Herbert. I think their best receiver is Jalen Guyton.
That's true. Or Josh Palmer.
Justin Herbert needs some guys, and I think Malik Neighbors I think he's got explosive traits, and I think he'll be a welcome addition in this Jim Harbaugh offense. I know offensive line would be a big thing, but we had this debate with the Cincinnati Bengals now, didn't we?
We did, and it worked out very well for them. However, I don't know, man. Jim Harbaugh is his whole thing is dominating with the run game. And I think, taking somebody like Joe Alt or a J.C. Latham could be, I think that's where they're going to go personally, but you made the pick. So wide receiver makes a ton of sense as well. Malik Neighbors, explosive athlete out of LSU. It would be a fantastic pick either way. I think they'll go offensive line, but the wide receiver pick works too. So Giants at pick 6. Are they
Trade.
It's a trade.
The Vikings are coming in at 6. The Giants don't need a QB. Ooh. And I think Minnesota goes, okay, Chargers, you're going to stay and put. We're going to come in. The Giants are going to get the Vikings 2 first-round draft picks. And look, he's already got it down
he's
there.
Already got it. I love these graphics right now, Zach.
Let's go.
They're fantastic.
So the Vikings now are pick 6. The Giants will now have the 11th pick and the 23rd pick in this draft. So the Giants get some capital to build around this roster, because I think it would be too soon to make. If it was Drake May or any of the top 3 QBs, I think there's maybe a reason to move off Daniel Jones. But here, I think the Giants take the capital.
Yeah, obviously, if the Vikings are trading up in this instance, I think it's got to be J.J. McCarthy. The presumed. I mean, he might be the 3rd quarterback taken, 2nd quarterback taken, and when push comes to shove, I think everything settles. He's going to end up as probably the 4th QB. And the Vikings getting that extra first-round pick a little while ago only makes sense because they want to trade up. So J.J. McCarthy lands in one of the best starting QB, position. What's the word? Environments in a long time. You have Justin Jefferson. You have Jordan Addison. You have a fantastic coach.
You don't have to start right away either.
You don't have to start right away. Sam Darnold, I have him in Dynasty, so I'm hoping he doesn't start right away. But yes, you also have a scheme where you can be a Brock Purdy, you can be a Jared Goff, you can be a Jimmy Garoppolo, where you don't have to
basically
put the entire thing on your shoulders. And I think that's how J.J. McCarthy could excel. So
I think any young QB immediately getting Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to is a happy camper.
Oh yeah. Well, pick 7 is on the clock now. It's the Tennessee Titans, and they're going to stay.
They had an explosive offseason. They got guys like Calvin Ridley. They were able to get L'Jarius Sneed, and I think they go with Joe Alt from Notre Dame. They've really went all in on Will Levis in this offseason.
Oh, I thought you said alt in.
That would have been funny. They went alt in on Will Levis, and I think you got to be able to examine if Levis is truly the guy, and you can't do that if Levis is getting sacked like crazy. So Joe Alt for Notre Dame, it's the easy pick for Tennessee. I think nothing will really change that within the scheme of how the draft may shape. So Joe Alt, they get their guy.
Yeah, he's just a massive human being, 6'9", 3-year starter at Notre Dame. Notre Dame offensive linemen always seem to do great in the league. And yeah, I think Joe Alt would be a fantastic pickup for him. They have Bill Callahan as well, Brian Callahan's father, and one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. So makes a lot of sense for what they might be trying to do. Now the Falcons at pick 8.
They're going to stay.
They're going to stay at pick 8. So the Falcons are not trading back. They're going to go in here. Falcons, everybody talks about their lack of pass rush. It's a bit of an issue. They haven't gotten sacks here for a while now, so they could be looking at edge defender. I think you have a lot of people mocking Will Anderson to him, or not Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. Sorry, Will Anderson is on the Texans. But because so many people have a mock there, I kind of feel like it's not going to happen.
Okay.
You know, that
you like
always
the
gonna
reverse
happen.
psychology of it
Yeah.
all.
I think, you could go corner here as well. AJ Terrell doesn't have a long-term deal yet. I'm going to go lay to Latu,
Okay.
a different
Okay.
edge rusher. Let's just suppose here that, he has potential issues with the previous neck injury, but he's a fantastic pass rusher, does a great job converting speed to power. And while everybody has Dallas Turner going to the Falcons, I think it could just be something where, it just ends up not being that, but close. So
Okay.
Latu becomes the first edge rusher off the board. There's really only a few top-tier edge rushers in this class, and Atlanta wants to make sure they get one of them.
Okay, so we got Latu going to Atlanta. Now we go to the Chicago Bears at 9.
No,
No.
not the Bears. Not the Bears.
Oh.
The Bears are trading back with the Rams. The Los Angeles Rams are now picking at pick 9. You've got the Rams saying once again, F them picks. We're trading up. They get rid of a future first or whatever it may be.
Crazy.
And yeah.
Are they pick
the Rams are on the
swapping
clock
too?
now.
So I'm assuming
Yes,
Chicago will
so
go to 19?
Chicago is picking at 19 now and get some additional picks
I know
back in this
why
draft.
Los Angeles wants to do this. They want a quarterback, and they're going to take Michael Penix
Whoa,
Jr.
okay, that is not what I was thinking you were going to do, but that's interesting. Okay,
I think
explain.
if LA's trading up, they're going to get a QB. Stafford doesn't have too much longer left, and he is a significant injury risk. He's a flight risk at this point, ladies and gentlemen. And if they're going to make that big of a haul, they must really like one of the QBs that are left. And I don't think it would be Bo Nix. I think it's going to be Michael Penix Jr. I'd love to hear what you thought I was going to do.
So, I'll explain what I thought you were going to do, at least what I was thinking with the Rams trading up. I don't know if Michael Penix will go that early. I think, he's got injury concerns, and he's old, and I don't know. He had a great wide receiving core as well, but yes, if a team is trading up that early, or trading up like that, it could very well be for a quarterback.
That would be nuts.
I thought with Rome Odunze still being on the board.
Oh, I
The Rams,
see. But for 10 picks, that's they do
you
have
know,
Cooper Kupp, and they do have
you have kind of the big three left. They see Odunze is still on the board.
Okay.
The Rams trade up and do that. But look, Michael Penix is now a Los Angeles Ram, so that is happening.
He was going to be my pick at 19 for the Rams.
Okay,
so
well, there you go. There you go.
there you go.
I guess in this case, the Rams believe Michael Penix needs to go at pick 9 there. So a nice little alley.
I love how we had different thought processes.
I
there.
enjoy
That
this.
was- that's
But anyways,
fun.
pick 10.
Okay.
It's the Jets. Is it staying? with
Trade.
Jets?
We're trading.
Wow,
We're
another
trading.
trade back to back.
Denver Broncos are sliding in at 10.
Okay.
They got a little antsy after that last pick. They're going to pick swap, and the Jets are going to get a couple picks later on in this draft. Not going to be nothing too crazy because it's a closer distance, but that Michael Penix pick scared the Broncos a little bit.
Yeah. So with that happening, with them seeing Odunze is still on the board, Odunze is now going to go to Denver and, double up, become a dynamic duo with Jared Stidham.
There we go.
Just what every wide
Jared
receiver
Stidham, Zach
dreams
Wilson.
of. Odunze is, at this point, the best wide receiver available. I think there's a bit of a tear drop off after him. And so the Broncos see this. Sean Payton sees this. They need a wide receiver weapon with Jerry Jeudy now being gone, with KJ Hamler now being gone. They still have Cortland Sutton, but he's getting a little older. Rome Odunze, now a Denver Bronco.
Interesting. Leaves me at the Giants at 11. Are they staying there?
Yes, they are staying there.
So there's a lot of places they can go. They can go offensive line. They can go wide receiver.
They could go anywhere.
They could go anywhere. So I think they're going to probably take the best player available and boost up this defense just a little bit more. They're going to go grab Dallas Turner.
Oh.
They're going to pair up Dexter Lawrence and Thibodeau and really bolster up this. They have a pick later, and I think it might be too early for maybe an A.D. Mitchell or a Brian Thomas, and then go, hey, we can go get a receiver later down the road. Let's go get the best available guy right now.
Okay. So Dallas Turner is now with the New York Giants. Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau hasn't exactly been what they had hoped. This could be an issue, though, because Kayvon Thibodeau, famously before the draft, everybody was talking about how he's super into crypto, has a lot of off the field interest. Dallas Turner is the same way. Dallas Turner, his dad was on the New York or Wall Street, and so he has a lot of business, interests as well. So
This might be deja vu for Giants
yeah,
fans.
it could be deja vu all over again. But
So,
Dallas Turner, fantastic player.
Now we
so.
have the Jets at 12, and they're going to stay put. They're going to stay put.
Okay, so we've got the Jets at 12, and Brock Bowers has fallen this far. Again, that's kind of another pick. Brock Bowers at 10 is something that a lot of people have mocked to. Does that happen? I think they go offensive line.
Okay,
So
I think that's the smart pick.
Yes, you got to protect Aaron Rodgers, especially coming off that Achilles injury. Now, which offensive lineman are they going to go with? I think it's going to be J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So
Aaron Rodgers is clapping from his couch high off of his butt.
he's one of the best offensive tackles in this class. Played primarily right tackle at Bama. So you shore up that position after losing Mekhi Becton, if I'm not correct, who hasn't exactly been what they panned out to be, or wanted him to pan out to be. So
Okay.
J.C. Latham is now on the Jets.
We get the Raiders at 13. And I think this is simple. They have a cornerback issue, and they're going to go take Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. Little Toledo getting in the top 15 in the draft. Very easy. I don't think the Raiders necessarily would take Bo Nix at this spot, and I know quarterbacks may be an iffy position for them, but I think this is a very easy pick for them. They're comfortable with that, and they can boost up that defense that just added Christian Wilkins in the offseason.
Good pick, Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo.
The Saints.
Saints. Staying with the Saints here?
We're staying.
We are staying with the Saints here. So the Saints, they need help on the offensive line. Ryan Ramczyk is old and
Trevor
gets hurt a
Penning
lot.
has
Trevor
not
Penning
worked
has
out.
not worked out well. So they're going to go Olu Fashanu out of Penn State.
There we go.
Presumably, before kind of the draft process started, was going to be the first offensive lineman off the board, potentially a top 5 pick. Falls a little bit here, but ends up going to the Saints.
Okay, here we go. Pick 15 with the Colts. Nothing happened? We got any activity?
We do not currently have any activity.
So the Colts have seen a certain tight end slip in this draft, and they go, we want to get Anthony Richardson a weapon. They're going to draft Brock Bowers at 15. Quite the steal, I would say, at 15.
I would say at this point, that would be one of the best picks in this draft.
I would agree.
If Brock Bowers fell all the way to 15 for the Colts, you get an absolute difference maker for Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic duo.
That would be kind of fire to watch.
Yeah, it would be very fun. Instantly one of the most fun teams in the league. With Anthony Richardson coming back as well. So the Seahawks are now picking up pick 16.
That's right.
That's right. So with
no movement there.
Seahawks, where could they go? They have a deep wide receiving core. Geno is getting a little bit older, but I think you could potentially shore up the defense a little bit as well. Let's go Byron Murphy out of Texas.
Byron Murphy out of Texas. There we go.
D tackle is kind of a position that has grown. People are getting paid a lot more now at that position. DJ Reader. You have Dexter Lawrence just got paid. Christian Wilkins. A lot of Clemson guys getting the bag this offseason. Byron Murphy now is going to be with the Seahawks. Mike McDonald. He had a lot of success with Justin Matabuke last season with the Ravens. Now he gets his own defensive tackle to plug in there and go to work.
There you go. There you go. Jacksonville at 17. Are they staying at 17?
They're going to stay there.
And there's another LSU receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. Trevor Lawrence needs some weapons, needs a sure hands receiver because drops have been an issue all over the field for Jacksonville since Lawrence has been there. Brian Thomas, we're sort of following a script here on just team needs, but I think our first 10 picks sort of justify the less chaos here.
Yeah. And Brian Thomas, he's a fantastic deep threat. For his size, he's got fantastic speed, can stretch the field. That's something that the Jaguars may kind of need. They kind of lost their wide receiver 1 and replaced him with Gabe Davis, who is kind of supposed to be in the similar mold, but hasn't exactly panned out to be like that. So Brian Thomas adds more receiver depth to them and hopefully can help them out. The Bengals at pick 18. Are they're going to stay here?
They're staying.
Well, there's been a bit of a slide here at offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Only 3 getting picked so far, and with that, they could go corner as well. But I think they're going to go Talie's Fuaga out of Oregon State. Can sit for a little bit, play right tackle. Eventually, when Trent Brown, he's only on a 1-year deal. Once Trent Brown leaves, he can learn under Trent Brown, who former Patriot. But they can plug and play him if there's any offensive line injuries. And yeah, I think he could be good for the Bengals.
That's good for Mr. Joe Burrow right there. It's good for Mr. Joe Burrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, we just had our crazy pick swap now come back to circle with Chicago on the board.
Yep.
And I think Chicago in this situation, there's a lot they could do, but I think they're going to go edge rusher here. I think they're going to go Jared Verse from Florida State.
Okay.
I think you pair up a guy with Jared Verse. I got to watch him in person against FSU. There's a lot of potential there. I think maybe some inconsistencies in certain spots, but I think if you pair him up with a defense that with Eberflus, there's a lot to love there. I could see him thriving in a place like Chicago where I don't feel like they need to get a receiver. They had Keenan Allen, got DJ Moore, you have DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet. There's plenty of weapons for Caleb Williams to play with there. So I think just go boost up another defensive line that had a great stretch at the end of the 2023 season.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Chicago's defense was balling at the end of last season. They kind of picked up steam towards the end of the season. And hopefully now with Caleb Williams at the helm, with new weapons in Keenan Allen and whoever else they may bring in during this draft, yeah, it could work out for them. And like Grayson said, probably a playoff team in a weaker NFC, but you never know.
I would say so.
The Steelers at pick 20.
They're going to stay put.
They're going to stay put. So Steelers, again, where could they go? They love selecting out of Athens, Georgia.
They do.
You have Amarius Mims still on the board. They could use some tackle help. And that is where they're going to go.
Oh.
Amarius Mims, you have some potential issues with him not having played very many snaps. He's a little inexperienced, but he's a massive human being. Georgia offensive lineman, has that championship pedigree, very powerful. And yeah, I think he can come in, maybe not right away be the best tackle in the league, but eventually he gets some more experience under his belt and turns into a good player. So Amarius Mims is now a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Now, so I think Miami, if they had the opportunity to get Mims, just boost up the offensive line just a little bit more, saw them get pushed around a little too much at the end of the season. I think they're going to go Graham Barton out of Duke. Could be a guard, could be a center, very hybrid offensive lineman, something that kind of fits what Mike McDaniel does in Miami, which is just, hey, we're going to go outside the box and everybody zigs, we zag. So they're going to take the scholar from Duke University.
Duke University. Yes, sir. Well, Graham Barton, an older player, he's a senior, but, fantastic left tackle for Duke, especially when they were, moving a little bit at the start of the season with Riley Leonard as well. But pick 22, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
They're staying.
They're
Philadelphia
staying.
Eagles are going to stay here. And as a result, they see a certain cornerback is still on the board somehow, even though he could have potentially been a top 10 pick. Again, kind of another faller in this draft, but Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. The Eagles, again, love taking, they love taking from Georgia, but they'll do this time with an Alabama player. And Terrion Arnold is a fantastic player. He's great off the field as well. Seems to be checking all the boxes necessary. And yeah, Eagles kind of get a steal here at pick 22.
Speaking of steals, we have a certain Giants team that's
sir.
They used their 23rd pick because of the trade with the Minnesota Vikings. So here, I think the Giants are going to take Xavier Worthy out of Texas. They need to boost up their receiving core. Yeah, they could have gone offensive line. They could have gone running back, and I don't think running back really is the pick here in the first round. So you go with one of the better receivers in college football from last year, and you get a solid player that can immediately contribute, and maybe this is the one that connects with Daniel Jones on a big level.
Okay. Yeah, ran the fastest 40 ever So
Got
he
some
can
speed.
move. He's a little slight though, so you've got him and Jalen Hyatt, who are smaller, speedier players. So could potentially, hopefully they work out together. But you're going to have no lack of speed in that receiving core with Darius Slayton as well. The Cowboys at pick 24, they're going to stay here, I presume. And, where could they go? Jerry Jones has not exactly been willing to shell out a lot of money here recently on contract extensions. Everybody could kind of be done and they could be rebuilding after this year, depending on how they do. With that, Leighton Vander Esch just retired. They could be taking a linebacker in a weaker linebacker class as well. I don't know, dude.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough spot. I think they potentially let's give him Cooper DeJean. Let's give him a kind of a versatile, do everything sort of player in the secondary. There's questions whether or not he's going to be a corner or a safety or a nickel at the next level. He's very versatile. Jerry Jones gets to start the first white cornerback since 2005.
He's thinking about it.
And yeah, he probably is thinking about it, to be honest with you. So, Cowboys get Cooper
And
DeJean.
also a special teams value. He could be an all-punt returner.
Exactly.
Okay, this one's, if the Packers are staying at 25, there's a certain cornerback that is on the board still. And with that, the Packers are going to select Nate Wiggins. Out of Clemson University.
Let's go.
I think he could potentially be one of the better cornerbacks in this draft. I think the size may scare some people. I think it goes to a place like Green Bay where they've really been able to, if you draft defensively in Green Bay, your career sort of takes a stellar launch. So we get the Cheeseheads get Nate Wiggins.
The Cheeseheads get Nate Wiggins. Yeah, he's a fantastic cover corner. He isn't the most physical corner, so that's a bit of an issue. But fantastic speed, fantastic ability to flip his hips and change directions. Also, fantastic effort-wise. He has that play against UNC. Still one of the craziest plays I've ever seen live. So yeah, cheering for Nate Wiggins in Green Bay.
There we go.
The Buccaneers. So they've got kind of an aging team. They probably want somebody who can contribute now. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. But I think, looking at their needs, they could potentially go tackle, although a lot of guys have kind of come off the board at this point. I don't know. Let's give them the tackle out of Washington. Let's give them Mr. Not Fuaga, Troy Fontenot.
Okay.
I'm not pronouncing that correctly for sure, but he's also kind of fallen a little bit, although everybody's tackle boards could be very vastly different this draft. So we're going to give him some tackle help. Could potentially kick in a guard if needed. They had Ryan Jensen, I think, retired this offseason as well. So could potentially move some guys around to get him some playing time as well. So Troy Fontenot out of Washington is going to the Bucs.
So the Cardinals need a cornerback, and they also need, so they just had Maserati Marv, which is a pretty cool name. What about getting a guy that has a name like Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama? Get another starting caliber corner potentially. I think corner and tackle in this draft have some real gems, and you could get 5 or 6 off the board here. So not only do they get a cool name, they get a cool corner.
There you go. All right, the Bills at 28. So everybody's kind of looking at their wide receiver depth chart right now.
Need it.
They probably need a wide receiver option that could boost their receiving core, because right now Curtis Samuel is wide receiver 1. Because of that, let's give them an A.D. Mitchell.
Okay, there we go.
Real smooth, very, very fast as well, similar to Xavier Worthy. Not similar body style. He's much taller, still a slender frame, a little bit C.D. Lamb reminiscent a little bit, although may not be quite at that level. But A.D. Mitchell, he's going to go to the Bills and, instantly compete for targets, because that wide receiver room is rough.
All right, Detroit. So I think the one thing that really caught my eye in the NFC Championship game was the run coverage up the middle. Is the Lions are starting to become a team that virtually has nothing that like glaringly is bad, which is crazy to say. I think they're going to go Darius Robinson, D-line from Missouri, great Senior Bowl, all-around great prospect, fits Dan Campbell's mold, and maybe we'll see a freak-out celebration like we did before.
Okay. Good pick there.
All right.
Mr. Darius Robinson out of Missouri. All right, the Ravens.
Hold on, I think I'm getting something. Is that? Okay. All right, cool. I'm putting the phone down. Carolina's moving in the first round.
Wow.
Whoa, this is crazy.
Carolina is moving in the first round.
Okay, Carolina's giving a second, third round pick and a sixth round pick to get into the first round and get this specific player.
See, I don't know who you're thinking of here. It could be a lot. It could be. Throwing
a curveball your way.
Yeah,
I was thinking of doing it.
Look, Carolina. Who could they take?
Carolina
wide receiver
needs
again could
wide
be on
receiver.
The board.
They
kind of need everything.
They kind of need a lot.
They need an edge rusher, potentially with Brian Burns leaving.
Did they make that splash for defense?
And you know what? That's what they're going to take. They're going to take Chop Robinson out of Penn State.
Feeling pretty good about him.
They need an edge rusher. Chop Robinson is probably the last of the defensive ends in that kind of tier. So Chop Robinson is going to be a Carolina Panther. Was that who you were?
I was thinking a receiver.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
I think San Francisco.
We're over however many.
Yeah, we're not reading each other very well.
We're not reading each other.
We haven't been
very
on set in a while, so it's fine.
But the 49ers at pick 31. Just kidding. It is not the 49ers.
Oh.
The Ravens are actually going to move back up.
Okay.
And go to pick 31.
Okay.
So.
And the Ravens, they're like, hey, we loved giving Lamar some weapons. We just added Zay Flowers to the mix. Let's go add Xavier Legette from South Carolina and make Lamar Jackson's plethora of receivers even greater.
Okay.
Kansas City's punching the air right now, by the way.
Yeah, you get a very versatile wide receiver. He's very physical. Very physical, very fast. Two things you want in a receiver. Everybody mentions that he's kind of a Debo, A.J. Brown mold. But again, may not be to that exact level, but got a great accent as well. So
yes, he does.
That adds points in my book.
It is very much first round grade
to
worthy.
Round out this first round, the Chiefs.
Okay, they're staying put. They
are going to be selecting here to look at some players who have still not been selected yet. You have Johnny Newton out of Illinois as a D tackle, could potentially work under Chris Jones and just bolster that defense. You have additional wide receivers such as Ladd McConkey and Troy Franklin.
He is there. Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman is there as well. I think, however, I think I'm gonna go with. Let's go Jackson Powers Johnson. No, never mind. Pause. We're gonna go with Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. Just another tackle option for the Chiefs. Not moving too far. He's going from Oklahoma over to Kansas City.
Not bad.
They got to replenish that offensive line a little bit. It's one of their biggest needs. And yeah.
Got to protect Patrick Mahomes,
Got to protect Patrick Mahomes. That's the name of the game. So.
That rounds it out.
Tyler Guyton is the final pick of the first round.
That's a fist bump right there for sure.
There we go.
That was good.
Yeah, we threw some wrenches in each other's plans potentially. And
I'm just glad you didn't do it for the Patriots. That would have been tough.
I really thought about it, which would have been fun, but I don't think the Patriots are going to trade out of that pick. Some guys that ended up falling out of the first round, like I mentioned, Ladd McConkey, Johnny Newton, who I think will end up being a first-round pick, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Not on our board.
Not on our board, I guess.
Fell in the first round.
Bo Nix, I don't think.
I think he's a second rounder, but you can see quarterback get desperate. You could see somebody.
Yeah, potentially. But with that, that's going to be the end of this Cover 2 mock draft. 3.0.
3.0.
3.0, 3 years in a row. We want to thank you for tuning in. We want to thank Zach for these fantastic graphics. I can't get over
that
these.
was cooking. Best
I
part of the whole
cannot
thing.
get over these. He was doing this in real time while we were picking. He did not know our picks beforehand. Just fantastic work. So
Brother was balling today.
Zach
Cooking.
doing great work. But
go.
we wanna ask that y'all like, comment, subscribe to Tigervision.
All the things.
Yep, do all of that. Share with your friends, your family, your pets.
Because they want to know too.
Yeah, exactly. They want to see a 32 out of 32 mock draft.
Your dog wants to see Michael Penix get drafted at 9 overall, right? I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
Your parrot, your fish,
But
your horse.
anyways, you can come back to this when we go 32 out of 32, and we will.
just one.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week for most likely the finale of the Cover 2. So tune into that and tune into all our other shows here, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.